can hardly imagine that God would ask such a thing of anyone, let alone Abraham, to whom he had given Isaac. Literally, that name means a gift of God, because they were unable to have children, and in their old age, what seemed impossible to men was made possible through the grace of God. And what a gift Isaac was. God promised that through him there would be many generations to come for the people of Israel. And yet here God is asking Abraham to offer him as a sacrifice. The most precious and loved thing that Abraham had in his entire life, he was asked to give up, to be obedient to God's will. And so the story is almost impossible to believe. Abraham did just that, what God asked of him, without any doubts, any reservations. His obedience to the will of God was perfect. It's why we call Abraham the father of faith, the one who completely trusted in God and his divine will. He bound up Isaac, built the pyre, and placed him there, ready to do just as God had asked. But as God looks lovingly on that perfect obedience and trust of Abraham, that's what he was expecting, that's what he knew he would see. And it becomes for all generations an inspiration to us, a call for each of us to put our trust in God, to let go of what is most dear to us. We just heard on Sunday in the gospel, anyone who wishes to gain his life has to lose it. And anyone who holds his life here on earth will lose it for sure. Because the only life that we can gain is the life of God. And that life requires tremendous faith. It was the power of faith that heals the paralytic in the gospel. When Jesus saw their faith, he knows what's in our hearts. How much faith in God do we have? How much trust? Are we able to be completely obedient to the will of God, even at the cost of our lives? That's what we celebrate today in perhaps one of the greatest saints of our modern age, Saint Maria Goretti, 12 years old. She was in love with Jesus Christ, her mother said, from the earliest days, as much as she could ever remember. Maria Goretti loved the church, she loved her faith, she prayed, she wanted to do what God desired, and she had promised in her heart, even at that age, to offer her life in chastity and virginity. And so when she rejected the advances of her neighbors, rather than to be raped, she was stabbed to death. She offered her life. She was murdered brutally in front of her parents, who were there at that moment. And the note of Saint Maria Goretti is, before she expired, she forgave her attacker, and she said she would pray for his conversion. When she was canonized in 1950, it was the largest group ever to come to Rome to witness the martyrdom of this young woman of great faith, who loved God with all of her heart and soul, and she knew what she would gain, the things she longed for, the life of glory. And in that audience that day was her attacker. He had spent years in prison and became a man of deep faith. He said he owed it all to Maria Goretti, who had never given up on him. That's what we believe. Conversion can happen to anyone, even the worst sinner. There's always hope, always an opportunity for people to change their lives completely through grace, through prayer, through our penance. God never gives up on any one of us, and we can never give up on anyone, no matter what the circumstances. It's why we don't believe in capital punishment. There's always hope that someone can be converted. Yes, justice is due, but the life given by God can only be taken by God. That's church teaching, and something we have to grapple with even today. May we be inspired by the love, the witness, the trust of Maria Goretti, of Abraham, of so many others throughout the course of salvation history who call us and inspire us every day to lose our lives here, to give away whatever it is God expects of us so that we can gain the only thing that matters, the life of glory, no matter what the cost, that we might be with him forever, and that requires the obedience of our will.